Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. And the young lady that I have for you right now is a football fanatic. She is very astute with her game. I call her a friend, and I also call her, well, others have done it before me, but a two-time Emmy Award-winning producer. And to say that she's busy would be an understatement. Please help me welcome the lovely Deb Whitcas.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. How are you?
I need to get that cup and just switch Philly with Indy for my wife.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I need to get a cup like that for my Jody. All right, let's do this. September 6th, your Eagles go to Brazil to take on the Packers.
Yes.
And as many Packer fans as I know that tune into my show, I hope the Eagles terrorize them.
I mean, I actually got into a big fight earlier in the week. Eagles, and I was like, the offense is just going to terrorize. I mean, under Kellen Moore, that's just what's going to happen. And everyone knows me, love me some love.
Yes.
But I think of course, everybody just attacked me, including my own boyfriend. Not attacked. I shouldn't say attacked. Verbally was like, how can you say the Eagles are gonna rock and it's gonna be one of the best offenses in the league? And because they just died last season. That was last season. Kellen Moore was not with them last season.
Right.
And from what I'm hearing, Jalen Hurts doing very well under his coaching.
I just want Jalen Hurts to stay healthy.
Yes.
Because after last year, after the second half of last year, you can tell that he was in pain. He was not at 100%. Go back to the game, week 13 against San Francisco. There were a couple of times where he had a running lane but couldn't step up and take it. And it looked like on one of those sacks he was scared. No, he was not scared. His leg collapsed.
Hurt. Yeah.
I
agree.
Really, really
obviously, we've had this discussion on like what went wrong the later half of the season. I mean, Hurts definitely was part of it. I didn't really start to see, the hurt until later, if not even looking back now, you see it. I think in comparison to how he's playing now, with training camp and just seeing the clips that I've seen. I've not been to the Eagles training camp, but something's different. Thank God.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen clips also, and he looks very different. He looks like he's ready to go.
And he looks like the Hurts that I tell this story all the time. His second or third year playing the Vikings. I was at the link for the the home opener. And I was conflicted about Hurts at that point. And what I saw on that field, I was like, oh, we're going to Super Bowl. When I said it, I didn't actually think we would, but we wound up there. Didn't win. But
your feelings about Hurts was the same feeling I had about Steve Young after Montana got hurt in the NFC Championship game. And then all the discussion that time, well, Steve Young's going to take over the offense. And my brain went, how is Steve Young going to run this offense? Let's see, 6 touchdowns in the Super Bowl plus 3 passing titles and all of that later. I got my answer. And I think the Eagles are going to get their answer with a healthy Jalen Hurts. But the other big key is, and you and I have spoken about this before, a healthy Saquon Barkley.
Yes. And funny, I was at the gym. I do some private workouts, and a lot of Giants fans there. Who knew? I'm in LA, but I do hang out in good company because we're all kind of from New York and New Jersey.
Yep.
And we had that same discussion. I was like, I'm so excited to have Barkley. Eagles are going to be a force with him. without him, but still with him is even way better. So,
Mhm.
but no, that's my concern as well is that he stays healthy. He obviously has
Yeah.
that issue. No one's getting any younger.
Right.
And but no, he seems happy, healthy, and ready to go.
Let's go to San Francisco. There are two
Yes.
holdouts
Wow,
that
I cannot believe
everybody,
it's still going on.
yeah, everybody believes that neither one of them will get signed, which is false.
Really?
They made the offer to Brandon Aiyuk, and I think Ayuk's going to stay. The only sticking point is whether it's going to be a 3-year deal with a
Mhm.
4th-year option or a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option.
Okay.
That's the only sticking point right now with Brandon Aiyuk, because in midst of all the reports, and
Yeah.
I put
There's
the
been
I put the
so
quote.
many, it's not even funny.
Oh dear
Like,
God, have
it's
there been
like
so many?
avalanche daily.
Mhm.
You almost get tired of reading. I mean, it's been going on for months, obviously, even since like
Yeah.
last season. There was the rumblings had started. Yeah. I mean, I've been back and forth about it, to be honest. At first I thought he was out. Then at one point I thought he might be going to the Patriots. And
Mhm.
then, it's obviously the Steelers have always been in kind of the forefront there to get him.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Now I feel like I thought he was gone. Like I was expecting like any minute to get that alert on
Mhm.
my phone. Like I was
Mhm.
waiting for it the one day,
Mhm.
and it never came. And I was like, this is weird. Okay. And yeah, I mean, I think he's going back. I think he's going to stay with San Francisco now.
The
That's my gut is
the
what it's
thing
telling me
is,
now.
had he been on the trading block, they'd have done it before the draft or night of the
Right.
draft.
Right.
They'd
This
have
is
done it. They'd have done it then, because the
okay.
same rumblings happened when Debo Samuel wanted an extension 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And everybody except the 49ers shoved him out the door. It's the
Mhm.
same thing with Brandon Aiyuk, with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons under one of the best offenses in the NFL right now.
Yep.
Why would he want to leave? My gut tells me he was staying the whole time. It's just the length of the contract they were offering. All the cryptic messages, just
Mhm.
sound and fury, signifying nothing. And plus, there's another Pro Bowler that they have to take care of, which they will, and that's 36-year-old Trent Williams, the best left tackle in the league.
Yeah.
They have to take care of Trent
They
Williams,
have to.
and they're going to take care of Trent
Yes.
Williams. And
Yes.
you have to think about this. Why would Trent Williams suit up in the preseason when he's needed in the regular season anyway? And the
Mhm.
same goes with
Mhm.
Christian McCaffrey. So
Mhm.
Williams gets a chance to rest and work out at his own leisure. And John Lynch, one of the most astute minds in the NFL right now, is a general manager. And when the Niners brought him aboard as general manager, everybody's going, "What?" I had a 2-foot smile on my face and I said, brilliant move. Now you're starting
Mhm.
to see the moves that John Lynch is putting together and the deals that he is putting together, because they're going to sign Trent Williams, and they're going to
Absolutely.
do it right before the season to allow him to rest as much as possible. They're
And
going to get the money with Brandon Aiyuk. They're going to get
yeah.
that together.
Mhm.
But they had to take care of Christian McCaffrey before they had to
Right.
take care of Nick Bosa, and
Right.
before they had to take care of Debo Samuel. So you have to take
Mhm.
care of your core. And if you think about it, the first deal of this quote unquote avalanche that started it all was George Kittle after the 2019 season.
Right. I love George Kittle. He is just a hoot. He makes me smile every single time I see him, whether it's in person or
Mm-hmm.
on
Oh,
clips. I watched something he did the other day he's really involved in animal rescue and he was doing a little thing on Instagram. I was like, I love George Kittle. Like, he just makes me smile.
George is crazy, and
Yeah, he's
I love George, and he's
it's
a hell of a tight end.
mhm.
And I told
They
this
just
story
have
on
a
the air.
hell of a squad. I mean, dear
Yeah,
Lord.
they are loaded, and they're getting reloaded. They signed Leonard Floyd.
Ugh.
Who expected John Lynch and the 49ers to snatch Leonard Floyd?
Yeah, yeah. Are people saying something about Christian McCaffrey? This is the first time, just because he obviously hasn't played in preseason. Why would he? He's like still in honeymoon mode. I would be too.
Well, there was a bit of it's an injury that he's dealing with.
Oh, okay.
It's a strained calf. he wasn't going to see the preseason anyway.
They're
letting him, Trent Williams, and all the older guys get ready for September 9th in Santa Clara against the Jets.
They've got to come in hot. I mean,
yep.
This is their season.
This is
coming back from the Super Bowl loss that was just ugly. This is their season. They're definitely going to be a force. They've been a force the last couple seasons.
They are going to be so dangerous. And that's just not me speaking as a fan. This is me watching them the last 6 years since John Lynch has been in charge and the team that he's put together. Of course, you got one of the best behind center in Brock Purdy, who showed his mobility in the playoffs last year. It's going to be round 3 of the 49ers and the Chiefs, only this time, instead of it being in Miami or being in Vegas, it's going to be in the Superdome in New Orleans.
Yes, it's going to be fun. People are already talking about it. So like I already have to. I usually book my hotel around October. I think I need to book it now because there's just already.
I think Jody and I need to do the same thing because the French Quarter is going to be nuts.
Going to be insane. I mean, Vegas was crazy. So
I know it was. And you were in Vegas.
Media events. We're like, what is going on?
I already got plans of getting my hotel and surprising my Jody. Look, we're going to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And we're not going as fans. And I know, what do you mean we're not going as fans? We're going to have a press pass strapped to our neck, doggone it.
Yes, we will. Yes,
we're going to have a press pass strapped to our neck. And a lot of my friends are going to be there, and they're cheering us on to get there. The preseason is well underway. If there's a rookie that has stood out to you so far, who is it and why?
A rookie. Yeah, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm trying to think. Honestly, and he's not a rookie, but I mean, Stetson Bennett stood out to me. He kind of is, but not really, because he was obviously drafted by the Rams last season, but then took a mental health break or some type of break. I shouldn't say mental health. I don't know what it was. But I'm a huge Georgia fan because I lived in Atlanta for several years, and
hey, go Dogs.
Right?
I've been a Dog fan since 1980. All right. A fellow named Herschel Walker and the guy behind the mic, Larry Munson, made me a Georgia fan, even though I do follow my beloved Northwestern Wildcats from Chicago and a couple of other teams in the area. My first college football team was the Georgia Bulldogs, and that came in 1980, like I said.
Well, half the Eagles defense is the Georgia Bulldogs, so we really like them too. I lived there for several years, so I love seeing Stetson Bennett win the back-to-back Natty 2 years in a row. That was amazing. I really liked him on the field. I was at training camp one day for the Rams. Unfortunately, one day was all I could make it, but saw him. There were some nice passes. So, and I know he did pretty well on that first. I didn't watch any of the preseason this weekend. I've been super busy. I've been co-executive producing two TV series as I'm doing sports.
You and I stay busy. Okay. Jody paid me the compliment recently. She goes, I thought I was busy. You stay busy. I'm like, honey, I haven't begun to get busy.
Yep. No, and that's what's funny is like, even I've been revamping Blonde Blitz too. We'll talk about that in a moment. But and obviously since it's not a rookie, but I kind of consider him a rookie. So it was good to see hit that preseason touchdown, the last seconds of the game, and he made a great play there. So
I've loved Stetson Bennett with the 2 titles he brought to Georgia, and the night that they beat Alabama, I was at work, and it was in Indianapolis, and I was working at a hotel, and there were a whole bunch of Bama fans that came down and checked out, and they were headed to Lucas Oil Stadium. Then a whole bunch of Dog fans came down, and one of them made a bet with me, and they said, you know what? If Georgia wins, you get a breakfast from us tomorrow. You're on. Needless to say, playfully, they didn't like the look on my face when I was bouncing in from work, smiling my head off because the Dogs won. But I will say this. I love what Stetson Bennett is doing. All right. They are really grooming him to take over for Matt Stafford whenever Matt Stafford calls it a career. And Matt Stafford has nothing left to prove. He's got his ring. He's guided He's guided two good offenses, Detroit and now Los Angeles. But now, and it's now time for Stetson Bennett to take over. We don't know when that is, but we know it's going to happen, and he's going to be the man in charge. Speaking of the man in charge, Kirk Cousins in Atlanta is the man in charge now.
Yes.
You got Michael Penix in waiting, and then some guy named Matthew Judon says, "You know what, ATL, I got you."
Yep. That's wild.
It is.
Again, a Patriots theme going on today, apparently. I'm scared of Atlanta at the moment. I mean,
Listen, I love what the Falcons are doing. As much as I tease Falcons fans, I love what the Falcons are doing. I absolutely love it. The only two problems I see
getting that team in shape.
The only two problems I see with this Falcons offense, Bijan, hold on to the football, will you please?
Yes, he's so good too.
He is,
hold on to it,
And then rally behind KC, rally behind Kirk Cousins, because he's coming off of a major injury. He's going to be 36 years old. It's a new start for him. And all the rumblings, and I went with the jokes too. You're paying $180 million for only one playoff win, but you're paying $180 million for a fellow who was thrust into the starting role in Washington, then got the starting role in Minnesota. God bless you, Paul Allen. And now he's in Atlanta, which we can presume this is going to be his final contract and his final stop.
I would assume so.
I would assume it would be
his a 4-year contract, $130 million. Yeah. Is it 4 years?
4 years.
He's not there's no way he's not 4 years. He's what, 30?
36.
Yeah. I mean, Tom did it. Let's not.
I got no complaints. If you can get a 36-year-old quarterback 4 years and $180 million, go with it.
Yeah.
But from a football standpoint, Kirk Cousins in his mind has a lot to prove, and now he's got great weapons with him. I mean, nothing against Justin Jefferson, but they couldn't keep a running game intact.
No.
They couldn't keep the passing game intact or an offensive line. And now you have all of those weapons in Atlanta.
Yep. Drake London.
Now you have Drake London, Kyle Pitts.
Yep, Kyle Pitts, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard Kyle's killing it.
I know. Why would we be surprised? You and I are football minds. Why would we be surprised?
He hasn't had the right quarterbacks around him. I think that's why he hasn't performed since he was drafted. You know what I mean? So
they're going to put up some numbers in Atlanta.
Penix is really obviously stepping up. We all knew he would. And, obviously with the draft, everyone's like, why do they need two? But obviously, so it's going to be a while.
Well, those of us who follow football, and we've seen and heard all the jokes they made about Atlanta and why they paid Kirk Cousins and then drafted Michael Penix. But it's pretty simple. It's the same situation in Los Angeles. Kirk Cousins is 36 years old. We don't know how much longer he's going to be there, though they did sign him to a 4-year deal. You're going to need somebody that's going to step up just in case of another major injury. And you go and get one of the best quarterbacks that did it this past year with Michael Penix Jr. and the years he had in Washington, not to mention before in Indiana, where I had a chance to see him in person. You get ready for the future, which is what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. Now, the only question I have with Atlanta are the big eaters up front.
Okay.
Their health and their schemes. I haven't had a chance to see them a lot, but I'm liking what I am seeing. I am liking what I am seeing. It's the consistency, and you've said this on my shows so many times over. I heard you say it on the Blonde Blitz. The one word I have for Atlanta, as well as Philadelphia, is consistency. They've got to show it.
I agree there. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
There's one other team that's going to be a wild card. Well, actually, one other division that's going to be a race down to the final game, and that's the AFC South, because you have two young guns in CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. And Anthony Richardson, oh my gosh, does he look phenomenal? When your quarterback is healthy, and Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts, is going to join me in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yay!
Yep, Matt Taylor is a very good friend. He's going to join He's going to join me throughout the season.
Fabulous.
And he said it himself. When Anthony Richardson is healthy and provides that extra gear in the Colts offense, they are going to be smoking hot. And it also helps when you have a chance to get revenge the first game of the season, because who do the Colts see at Lucas Oil Stadium? The Houston Texans.
And the Texans are going to be a really good team too. I'm excited. CJ Stroud, huge fan. Saw him.
Oh yeah.
At the combine. Same thing with Anthony Richardson. Saw him at the combine. Literally gasped when he threw a pass. It was a bomb downfield. The entire stadium erupted in like clapping. So I was like, who is this guy? But and then of course, like there was these guys behind me who were like, "Oh yeah, he's really good and he can really throw a pass, but he can't read a defense and he's not like going to be that good." And then right, exactly. The first couple of games, I was like, "Okay, I should have taken the guy's numbers behind me because I would have been like, what are you guys talking about? It's a gem."
Listen, I openly admit out loud that CJ Stroud made a liar out of me, because I didn't know what to expect, even given the performance he had against Georgia, where they lit Georgia up for 41 points. I didn't know what to expect from either CJ Stroud nor Anthony Richardson. Look, if both of those quarterbacks don't get 4,000 yards this year, I will be totally surprised.
Yeah, I'll be totally shocked too. Yeah, I think Chicago's going to be a good with Caleb too.
I'm liking what I'm seeing from as much mess as I've talked about Caleb Williams from a football standpoint. Look, as much mess as I've talked about Caleb Williams, Victor says from a football standpoint, what do you think about Caleb Williams? There are two pieces missing with Caleb Williams, and I sure hope he gets it. Number one is his footwork, because he looked good against Cincinnati. He looked good, but he still has a tendency to get happy feet when danger comes. But there was one play where he spun out of the pocket to his left and threw a dart downfield to Rome Odunze. That part of Caleb Williams is there. Just get the regular footwork, the fundamental footwork. I always stress fundamentals. If he gets his fundamentals in shape, he's going to have a lot of practice to do so. They're going to be special. And of course, snatching DeAndre Swift doesn't hurt either to stabilize your running game.
I was so upset when he left the Eagles. I was like, what are we doing? I'm texting my friends being, what is going on right now? What are we doing? And then obviously the alert came through we got Barkley.
You got Saquon Barkley.
That's why. Question answered.
Question answered.
Yes.
I had my friend Kyle, who's our fantasy football expert. The first set of rankings he did was the running back position, and he sent me his list. And of course, I was giddy because RB1 was Christian McCaffrey. And you can't doubt what McCaffrey means to that 49er offense. But I want to see what DeAndre Swift does in that Bears offense. I want to see them have a great mixture of run and pass. And Caleb, get your footwork together, because the first game against Buffalo, he looked lost on a couple of drives. He looked lost. It's
just preseason though. It's preseason. And I always say preseason is literally just, to get the roster, get that 53-man roster.
It is.
That's all. The coaches just want to see what these guys can do.
Yeah.
So, obviously I watch it, but you don't want to put too much stake in a preseason game. But they're there to practice. Like
you don't. It's a glorified televised practice. Is what the preseason game is.
Like football's back. Let's go.
Football is indeed back. And folks, we here at Snowman in the Morning and Snowman Multimedia are going to have a ton of football coverage, a ton. And with guests like Deb Whitcas joining me throughout the season, it's going to be an absolute blast. Deb Whitcas joining us here on the program. Thank you very much, my dear. I appreciate it. And I look forward to talking with you throughout the season.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Back with more after this.